Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Taking a little break from YouTube. I haven't been uploading videos recently, so it feels good to be back. Thanks to everyone who's been following the channel, giving it some likes and leaving comments. It means a lot to me when people take an interest and tell me what they think of the videos, some feedback, good or bad. Thanks very much, so keep it up guys. So we've got 1,000 points here of Demons of Chaos. Up until now I've just been posting some videos of my dwarf army, and I have been busily painting some Demons of Khorne. I'm actually trying to meet a deadline with an upcoming tournament to get 2,500 points of mono demons list, all Khorne, ready for this tournament. So this is just a practice game, and as you're about to find out, the list isn't really a 1,000 point list. It's more sort of half of a 2,000 point list. As you're about to find out, it doesn't really have a general, doesn't have a BSB, so it's a bit of a mishmash. But yeah, let's dive into it. So what have we got? I believe, now let me get this right, 32, I want to say 32, or maybe 33, something like that. Blood letters with full command. There's actually more than 32 in that picture there. I think I just haven't taken, there's 40 models there. I think I haven't taken some of the back rank off. 2 units of 6 Chaos Furies with the Mark of Khorne, and 2 units of 6 Fleshhounds of Khorne. And that's it really. So, as I said, there's no lords or heroes in the list. It's just core and special. Yeah, the reason for that is that's just all I had painted at the time I made this battle report. So I guess the general is the champion in the Horde of Bloodletters. Why not? So that'll have to do for now. I will be doing a video once I get the army fully done, where I've got some close-up shots, and I'll talk about the models and the painting, and go through the hobby side of it, and go into a bit of detail about what I think about the models, what I think about how they play in the game. So all that's to come, guys. This is just a battle report, and that's 1,000 points of Demons of Chaos. Right, let's have a look at the Bretonnians. So the Bretonnians then, I'm sure you're familiar with this army by now from the other videos on my channel. So we've got 2 units of, is it 12 in each unit there? Peasant Bowmen with the defensive stakes. On the left flank of the Bretonnians, my right flank. In the middle there you've got 6 Grail Knights, and I think they do have full command. Next along is the Knights Errant, and I think they've got a Paladin in that unit. Followed by, on the right flank of the Bretonnians, my left flank, there's the Knights of the Realm, and I think there's a Paladin in that unit as well. Now it's just 1,000 points, and Drew's elected here to not take any wizards, so there's going to be no magic at all in the whole game, so it should be quite a quick affair. All movement and combat, so let's do it. The Demons of Chaos then are deployed heavily on the left flank for this battle line scenario. As you can see, I've got Fleshhounds there with some Furies behind them, the main block of Bloodletters also with some Furies behind them, and then the last remaining unit of Fleshhound is on my right flank. And there they are, tucked behind the building, ready to come around to those archers. And that's how things looked ready to go. Nice snowy board there, bit of woodlands in the middle, quite a lot of space in the middle as well, a couple of buildings, and just lots of space. I'm sort of anticipating that these knights are going to come at me quite fast, especially if they get first turn. My army's really fast as well, so it will be interesting to see whether we do a bit of cat and mouse as to who's going to get the charge. The Bretonnians obviously will need to charge for their lance bonuses and their devastating charge. Khorne units as well, getting +1 strength on the charge. So it should be quite interesting to see how the movement phase pans out. And the Demons of Chaos get first turn. So as you can see, I've flown my Furies up over the top of my other units into the middle of the board as a kind of a screening role there. So they're sort of angled off to one side, tempting those Lancers of Knights, see if they want to take the charge and get thrown off direction. The Fleshhounds, as you can see, midway up, ready to pounce. The Horde of Bloodletters has just shimmied over to the left a little bit. Again, waiting to see what those Bretonnians do. I don't think they will take the bait and charge those Furies, but the option's there for them if they want, and if they don't, then they're going to have those Fleshhounds you know, there's not many places for them to run. And, you know, in a game like this, with hardly any shooting, no magic, it's really sort of a game of cat and mouse as to who is going to take a step out of line, who's going to get a good charge roll, and who's going to get into combat first. But I'm got the chaff advantage here, so I've just flown some units off the board, and let's see how they react to that. And the other unit of Fleshhounds have whizzed up that right flank at a nice angle there. Let's see what they do. I mean, are they just going to... how the Bretonnians going to react to that? Are they just going to leave those archers to die, or are they going to send those Grail Knights over? Let's just see how they react. So, Demons Chaos turn 1, over pretty quickly. Bretonnian turn 1. So one of the Paladins from the Knights of the Realm unit charges out of the unit into the Chaos Furies. Now, that seems like a very good plan. My opponent Drew didn't take the bait there by charging his whole lance of knights in, and I think that Paladin probably got a good chance of popping the whole unit because the Chaos Furies are quite weak, and I believe the Paladin is initiative 5. I think so. I'll double check that, but the Furies are initiative 4. I think the Paladin's in for a good one there. The Knights Errant have pivoted and moved to their left behind the woods over to the other side of the board. Again, not taking the bait for all my units there, stacked onto the left. One of the units of archers has pivoted, as you can see, to fire at the Fleshhounds, perhaps to get a better angle. And those Grail Knights in black there have gone quite far up, sort of into the middle of the board, ready to engage with my bloodletters. And that's how things looked on the other flank. I hadn't measured it at this point, but I was sort of thinking to myself, okay, those Knights Errant are pointing right at my Fleshhounds, but it's my turn next, and perhaps I could even get those Fleshhounds into the archers, or even into the Grail Knights, before those Knights Errants get to react. So let's see what happens. And in the close combat phase, the Paladin makes short work of the Furies, and of course they're only leadership 2, so the unit gets destroyed. That's how things finish up at the end of Bretonnian turn 1. Now you'll have to forgive me because it was a while since this game was played, so I can't remember the exact dice rolls. But I got I think it was like an 8 or a 9 or something like that for each of the 2 units, those Grail Knights just stumbled into a ditch. You know, they're just having a bad day at the office today, they've got a big fuck off horde of demons in their face, and some Fleshhounds in the flank. Oh well, yes, you can see there one of the Fleshhounds has died from some bowfire. I forgot to mention from Bretonnian turn 1. And now I've got a good look at the Bloodletter unit. I can see, I think it was about 31 models, or actually just 30 models. I can't tell exactly. I don't think they're so hard to rank up, these models. I can't often get a full 10 models ranked up in the horde formation there. So some of them are sort of hanging off at the back rank there. But at least 30 models, and those Grail Knights are in some serious trouble. I've moved the other unit of Furies over. Not quite sure what I had in mind at the time now. They didn't have an arc to charge. Well, they did obviously for those Knights of the Realm over there, but I thought I'd bring them over as more of a, to join in the main fight over here, which would be this side of the wood. Having deployed over the other side of the wood, the Knights Errant had moved round. My Bloodletters have no moved round, so I thought I'd move those Furies up in support. Hopefully they can get into combat in the next turn. The Fleshhounds made it into the Paladin. Not sure at the time how this combat's going to go, because I can only get 3 Fleshhounds fighting at a time against a single model. So yeah, let's see what happens there. I'm really not sure how that will pan out. All but 2 of the Grail Knights lost their lives to the Demons of Chaos. These Bloodletters are quite handy against Knights because they've got the killing blow, strength 5 on the charge, and obviously in horde formation there I'm rolling quite a few dice. And then of course with the Fleshhounds in the flank as well, I won the combat overwhelmingly. And as you can see, yeah, there's those 2 Grail Knights got away. We did pursue, and obviously the Bloodletters ran out of space there. Yeah, and this fight on the left flank did turn out to be a bit of a pillow fight. The Paladin sort of swinging his flail around and managed to scratch one of the Fleshhounds, taking a wound off one of them. and then we sort of barked and scratched at his horse and didn't do any wounds. So we just sat there waiting for those Knights of the Realm to join the fight. But not too unhappy about sacrificing that unit of Fleshhounds there. If it means those Knights of the Realm get held up in that combat and not join the fight, they can of course wheel round there, but I think it's a bit too tempting for them not to sort of charge in and try and kill those Fleshhounds first. So let's see what they do on Bretonnian turn 2. So Bretonnian turn 2 begins like this. The Knights Errant charge headstrong into the horde of bloodletters. Now, I was a little bit surprised by that, actually. I was a bit taken aback, because they were pointing at those Fleshhounds, into the flank of those Fleshhounds. And if they were to charge those Fleshhounds, they had a good opportunity there just to go straight through them. But then again, I guess it is quite tempting to think, well, okay, this is my opportunity to get a massive charge on against the bloodletters, against my main unit, and I guess they just went for it. Thematically, it worked really well. I get to do this good picture of the knights going to their doom against the horde of bloodletters. Of course, against a horde of men or a horde of orcs, they might have quite a good chance there. But obviously, demons are unbreakable. So even if you do kill a load of them in the first round, you're going to be stuck there, and those demons aren't going anywhere. And then, as I expected, the Knights of the Realm charged in to the Fleshhounds. The Grail Knights rallied, and the archers unleashed into those Fleshhounds again. And I think I got really lucky on my ward saves, actually, because I remember taking quite a few wounds there, but I've still got 5 models. So yeah, I think those Fleshhounds are quite lucky there with all that bowfire. In the main combat then, it kind of went as expected. The Knights Errant winning combat, killing a few bloodletters, and then things just sticking there. I think I rolled a decent leadership test on the instability. And as you can see, I've still got lots of demons, and we're just all those Knights of the Realm are just sort of waiting for some Furies to join the fray next time. In the combat phase, the Knights of the Realm had a very devastating charge, killing 3 or 4 of the Fleshhounds, combined with the Paladin swinging in as well. I think we managed to kill one of the Knights of the Realm as well, if I've got my numbers correct there, because I think they're 1 down on the models. And then, as you can see in the picture, I roll a double 1 on my break test. My first ever game playing Demons of Chaos, and I get the best result on the table, and reality blinks and the demons reappear, and it was just fantastic. I mean, it really brought a smile to my face. Sort of thinking to myself, Demons of Chaos, a lot of randomness. Let's see how I enjoy it. And on my first ever game, I get the double 1, so good to see them. And actually, looking back on it now, that double 1s could have won me the game, because I'm tying up that Knights of the Realm unit over on one flank of the board, and it's now going to take them another turn or 2 to chew through these Fleshhounds, which have, that's a unit with 12 wounds, right? They've all got 2 wounds each, toughness 4, 5 up ward. It's going to be until late in the game that those Knights of the Realm actually join the fray in the middle of the table. That double 1s could have won me the game. Let's find out. Demons of Chaos turn 3. Now, spectacularly, on my first ever game playing Demons of Chaos, I'd already rolled a double 1 on that instability test, and I now roll a double 6 on the magic phase and get to bring in a new unit of demons. I couldn't believe it. Like, I was literally there, just sort of just smiling to myself, thinking, "Is this really happening?" And luckily, I had a few bloodletters in the case there, and just stuck them down. And, the look on Drew's face, like, "Oh my god, is this really happening?" There's just more demons just stepping out of the warp. I still don't know what to think really about that double 6 result. I think it's only going to happen now and then. But obviously, when it happens in your magic phase, they've already missed the movement phase. Therefore, you are really just bringing in a unit of demons to sit there for your turn and your opponent's turn, and then you can do something with them on the following turn. So they're not going to be active until my next turn, but for that reason, it's sort of more best to use that new unit of your demons as a screening role, on hindsight, unless, of course, I, paint up some pink horrors, and then having rolled a double 6 on the Winds of Magic, just 6 dice, whatever spell they get, straight away, which might not be a bad idea, actually, because the way I understand it, you can roll to see what their spell is before you deploy the unit, and therefore, if you get the template spell, you could put them in a favourable position to cast the template spell, and if you get the bolt thrower spell, you can. Sorry, I call them the template spell, the bolt thrower spell, because I can't remember any of the siege spell names, but they're all sort of direct damage, magic missile spells that have slightly different modes of deliverance. So that could be a tactic if I can find it in me to paint up some pink horrors. But as it happens, I thought, why not just put these bloodletters into the flank of those Knights of the Realm? They will chew through those flesh hounds eventually. But this way, with a few bloodletters in the flank, I've even got a chance of getting those points. We'll see. Furies into the flank of the Knights Errant, Flesh Hounds into the front of the Grail Knights, the writings on the wall for the Bretonnia. The Flesh Hounds started to take some heavy casualties in the close combat phase. As you can see, I've lost a couple of models there and one's down to a wound. But as I said, I'm happy if that combat just stays a stalemate till the end of the game. That's fine by me. Having lost their Lance bonus then, the Knights Errant start to take heavy casualties and do fewer wounds in return. They end up losing combat, breaking. As you can see, there's the champion and BSB fleeing there. I think they fled through the archers. The archers passed their panic test, but the Furies pursued into the flank of the archers. Also, one of the Grail Knights has died, and the other one's stuck in combat there with the Flesh Hounds. Bretonnian turn 3, then it's just close combat to go. The Furies, I think one of them dies, as you can see there, but they manage to see off those archers and pursue into the remaining Knights Errant. I think the last Grail Knight dies. It's hard to see in that picture. I have those archers charged in there. I can't really see in that picture what's going on now. But anyway, these are the final throws of the game now, because we decided to call it a day after this last turn, and that's how things finished on the other side of the table. It was getting a bit late anyway, so we decided to call it a night by then. So yeah, really enjoyed my first outing with the Demons of Chaos. Really fun actually to finally play an army with a high movement and high initiative values. Having played Dwarves for quite a while now, it's good to sort of strategize the movement phase and really try and pick the combats that I want, deploy chaff and try and just take more advantage of the board as a whole, rather than just sort of staying in my deployment zone and waiting for the enemy to come to me. I think the lack of magic really hurt the Bretonians in that game. Obviously, a mono-Khorne list, that is the one weakness that we have, not having any power levels to add to the dispel dice. Not having access to a dispel scroll means you're more likely to get spells off. We do have across the board magic resistance though, so we can sort of neuter a lot of the effects of the direct damage and magic missile spells. And actually, bloodletters, they're quite resilient against some of the unit killers as well. They've got strength 4, initiative 4, so against your compared to some of the other demons anyway, they're a little bit more resilient against some of those big, like your dwellers below and your pillar shades. I think the the plague bearers have a low initiative and the demonettes have a low strength and things like that. So bloodletters, not too bad, quite resilient against spells with 5-up ward and the magic resistance 1. But still, if you're able to cast a bunch of small spells and buff up your units, there's not much I can do about that without a dispel scroll, without any, just a few dice to throw at it. So I think that let the Bretonians down a bit. But also, I think just the sort of list that I picked, it was a bit of a cheeky list for a 1,000 point game, because I've just got a big horde of bloodletters, and a big unbreakable unit like that is actually a lot of points. I think there was only 30 models in that unit, but that's still about, I don't know, a 500 point unit or something. I'd have to check my roster there, but that's a big old unit. And you know, you're going to need a couple of lances and knights at least to have a chance of getting through it in one turn. Very difficult. But yeah, I really enjoyed playing that. As I said, I'll do another video at some point going through, you know, my choice of, you know, why I selected the army and the different units, and go into a bit more, do some close-up pictures of the models as well. So that's all. I hope you've enjoyed it, and speak to you all soon. Bye bye.